banned immediately, right? It's going to be a 6-year thing where they're going to increase the tariffs every year.
Well, that's from a different bill. Hi, we got. Let me get. Yep, we got comments. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Drone Therapy. Are you a drone master? And let me explain to you why I called the show this first. And everybody here on the panel, yes, you can see Drew over here. He's joined us this evening. He's the drone guy. He's here with us, and we're gonna get in there in a minute. But I want to explain to you why I said drone master. Hey, Johnny Drone Flyer. Hey, Caleb. Hey, Barkley. And I told you, Barkley, that you were gonna laugh. The reason I wanted to say is, are you a drone master? Are you comfortable enough with your drone to send it out and you don't, what was it, Lance, a dear friend of mine, Lance, is always say, trust the technology. But Bill's problem is I'm terrified to trust the technology. So my drone is always a master over me, as opposed to a drone master who could just send it. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta trust the tech. I
Well,
sent
that's
my
what I'm saying. To me, I'm always squinched up, and you can ask any. Caleb's here, and I'm sure Angel might be watching. They can tell you I'm squinched up in a ball. You know, if I can't see it, you know, if it's like this big, I'm like, I gotta bring it back. I gotta bring it back. I can't see it. I gotta bring it back now. I gotta bring. And they're like, no, just go, man, just go,
yeah.
just go. And I'm like, I can't, man, I can't, man, I can't. I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid. I'll bring it all back. So
It'll come back home.
my drone masters me. I'm not a master of my drone. So I will not deny that to anybody. So if you all actually ever manage to fly with me, you will laugh your ass off when you see me when I send my drone out, and I'll get so far out there and you go like, Bill, that's only like 300 yards out there. That's as far as I can see.
Did you see my range test I did for the Air 3?
No, sir, I did not.
I sent it out over water. I think at about 6 miles.
Oh, wow.
It was over 30,000 feet.
You got really good eyes.
Yeah, I got laser vision.
Hey, they say the human eye is good up to 3 miles. I mean, mine
Yeah.
ain't. You know, they do say that that's the case.
Well, if you use a Firehouse anti-collision light, you can see it a lot farther.
That's true.
What was it he said? We don't have to see. Good point. That's a good point. Oh no, I can't be. No, man, I would have a nervous breakdown if I thought it wasn't coming back. I literally would have a nervous breakdown. Hey, Ron's here. This is the other gentleman I was talking to you about. Okay, now I will say. Oh, shit. Sorry, Ron's back. Sorry about that. Total screw up on my
Ron,
end.
what's up, man?
Hey, good night, guys.
Nice to meet you, Ron.
Good night, guys. Is that? I missed that.
That was a fast appearance before. Okay.
See ya. Okay, so I will get back into. I said now that I explained that my drones master me and I'm not a master over them, and apparently everybody else here is a drone master, while I am a mastered by his drone. Anyway, so Drew is with us. I would like you to meet Randy. I've already introduced you to Randy before we went live. And Ron Brown, who is a co-host of Drone Nation. And just speaking to Drew before we went live, Ron, I think that him and Marcus would get along like two peas in a pod. So if there's any way you can talk Marcus into get him on there with you guys, I think it would be, you all would have a lot of fun. And Bob Dempsey, if you're anywhere out there too, I know that this gentleman is very interested in hearing about Las Vegas, because what's the website to that, Ron? Do you know the website to the Las Vegas?
I don't. Bob, if you're in the chat, maybe throw it in.
Yeah,
there.
whip that bad boy out in the chat there, Bob, if you got it. If you're not here, Bob, or if anybody knows the Las Vegas Drone Meetup website.
And it's something real simple like Las Vegas Drone Meetup website, but that's probably not it.
What doesn't the FAA determine visibility max at 3,000 feet? I know he had visual line of sight when he was doing his field test, just like Dustin Dunnell.
Yes, Dustin always has good line of sight.
Yes, Dustin always has good line of sight. He even does it with the planes, man. When he was on the island, he did it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ron, and I was talking to Randy earlier. Drew is a broker and a 107 pilot. He was explaining to me that he kind of got into doing the photography and stuff. Well, what am I talking about this for? Drew, go ahead and kind of give us an overview of yourself and what all you're into.
with all this stuff, that's for sure. Well, it kind of dawned on me one day. Basically, what I did was I picked up a camera. I did decide to get into heavy landscape photography many moons ago after quitting college basketball. Needed something to fill the time, and I did happen to study business along the coast of Maine here, which is just a really great place to pick up photography. And there was just at the time DJI Phantom 3 was coming out, DJI Phantom 4s were coming out, and I was already getting bored with some of the landscape opportunities that I had and was getting jealous of this one person in particular that was getting great photos. And I happened to just throw all my cards in on a Phantom 4 that my friend didn't want to, invest in anymore. And speaking of trusted technology, my first flight, I just had to send it out to an island lighthouse that's about half a mile out, and lost signal. I thought, there we go. This was my one and only flight. And returned home, saved my butt, it reconnected, and the rest is history. But I quickly became by a couple of realtors locally as a great landscape photographer that they wanted to hire for their high-end real estate, which was really lucky because they were perfect people to kind of drill me into the real estate game. They're actually the top Sotheby's agents in the state of Maine. So they sell $5 million, $10 million homes. And so I got to fly my Phantom 4 for them for years in and out of those properties. And with them asking me so many questions about marketing and how to photograph these and work with the clients, I thought, why don't I just become a broker? It seems kind of silly that I'm only making, X amount of dollars per property. I should maybe make the full commission. So I decided to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But I can market myself as being able to do everything now. And it really has allowed me to make more connections in the industry and understand it in a way I wish I knew as a real estate photographer personally. If I could go back, I'd probably become a broker first. I'd become a more successful real estate photographer more quickly. But that's how you learn, right? You learn by mistake.
Do you hear us, Netflix? We have a new series for you, Drone Realtor.
Yeah. Look out, what's it? Sirhan from Selling Manhattan. He just came out with the Netflix, series. Maybe there's a series here in Maine. Who knows?
Well, Dale, it's going to be a really hard web address. It's actually VegasDroneMeetup.com.
Yeah, I knew it was pretty simple. I just didn't.
But like I was telling Drew before we went live, I was like, Audrey is like a Vegas planner, man. So Bob's got the in on everything already because she's connected. I mean, she's connected. So it's going to be some, I don't know. I may try to get out there. I'm not sure if I can or not. Go for it. What?
Sorry, you said it was in October?
Early November, President's Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
President's Day weekend. And didn't she mention something about they were going to try to get like limited access to flight on the Strip, maybe?
I don't know if that's official.
Maybe an up down.
I don't know if that's anything official.
Well, I think she said they were working on it, that they were trying for an up down. And I know Vic has actually flown out there. So, depending upon the situation, that's going to be kind of weird though. So like you could charge a bunch of people. You could say, okay, you're going to get every person they'll fly up and down, and you'll have one pilot in command over here, and he'll be like, yeah, I have to stand right here the whole time you're flying. Why? Because if I see it dangerous, I have to take away the controls. Oh, okay, I got you. But I had to pay how much? Never mind. All right. Oh, the squirrel moment there. They just kind of appear. So, any questions from you guys? Any questions from the audience? Let me scroll way ahead. Anybody? Any guys?
Nobody?
Ron. Okay.
Go for it. You mean about
anything in general having to do with real estate, photography, drone photography, drone software?
I'm a little like I don't know a whole lot about real estate. Exactly what is a broker? What does he do beyond what a real estate agent does?
It's essentially another synonymous word for a realtor, a licensed broker, a licensed realtor, a licensee overall.
He can sell your house and take pictures of it with his drone too.
And how hard was it to get that license?
I do think having the business degree helped because being a licensed broker is a lot of times being your own business person in a lot of ways and understanding finance, mortgages, rates of return, those types of things. but it was challenging. You know, it had its challenges in a different way than the drone license, the Part 107 certification. So I did have to study. You have to take a 40-hour course, both in Maine and New Hampshire. I'm licensed. And I'm actually an associate broker in both states now as well, which you have to take some advanced courses for. But it has its own ins and outs. It does take commitments. It takes kind of like the drone business. It takes financial commitment, whether it's insurance or your realtor dues. But I can sell your house and photograph it.
I would imagine it's quite a bit harder than the 107 test.
What's that?
I said I imagine it's quite a bit harder than the 107 test.
Yeah, you know, in its own right, it was, because especially when I went to take the New Hampshire test after the Maine test, they have these little differences. Even though I lived in a part of the state that was a mile away from the other state, they had these little nuances that were so different. It was kind of annoying, but you kind of learn by default, and naturally, the passing score I think is an 85 anyway. So you can get a couple runs.
Hey, passing's passing.
Yeah, exactly. Experience is key anyways. You know, getting into it, getting those sounds under your belt, getting the flights under your belt. That's what I always tell people is, you know, every flight does offer a little bit of a lesson, whether it's a scarier one than not. But
there's an interesting question. Are
Here's a good
realtors'
question.
are realtors' licenses regionally specific?
they're state by state, typically.
State by state. Okay.
Yeah, and every state has its own like multiple listing service. Maine and New Hampshire are one of the only states that have just one multiple listing service. So it's very complicated when you get to it, but at the same time, we're dealing with our own issues similar to the DJI ban. I don't know if anyone's heard of the real estate commission stuff, the NAR getting sued. So,
Yeah, I am aware of that. I don't understand all the particulars, but I am aware of the lawsuit. Something to do with it? Is it the commissions or?
Yeah, basically, people were getting sued because there wasn't an understanding about sellers and buyers' commissions, but it all relates. So it's just one more thing. I just went and got my accredited designation to become a buyer agent. Just more designations and education just helps you kind of keep yourself separated from the pack. Kind of like this DJI ban, I happened to reach out to a bunch of different drone companies that I think could be a potential alternative if this does go down the way we may think it does. So I'll hopefully be ahead of things, but you always have to be ready to move and swivel. It's not always fun, but that's life, I guess.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, and I'm glad that you've reached out to. But Randy, can you think of any other comparable drone companies anywhere on the planet that equal DJI? Excuse me, that aren't white label DJI drones?
Oh, okay.
Because now, I was gonna say I gotta stop you there. I was gonna say Anzu, and I was gonna like, well, that's still DJI.
I've looked. There's virtually no consumer. It's not even there's a bad option. There's like no consumer American drone companies out there.
Right. Everything you could think of would be on the enterprise side, not the consumer side.
Well,
because I went and I looked.
Yeah, well, most everything, the majority parts are come from China. I mean, even Holystone, look, most of it's, where's it actually put together at? They're trying to use Malaysia as a loophole. What's the other company that's got the Air 3 clone?
Spectra and Cohita is the same company. I think Spectra is a subdivision of Cohita or something like that.
Oh, Spectra's a division of Cohita. Okay, that makes sense.
And that all may be an office in a strip mall with 5 guys or whatever, like Anzio. A company.
Yeah, they're still being built in Malaysia, right?
Yeah,
everything's being built in Malaysia.
Everything's made in Malaysia, Bill.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, the Avata 2 is made in Malaysia, so.
Yeah, you were talking. You showed that on the box.
Yeah, it's probably 5 guys in a broken down building in Malaysia. They're Cohita and Spectra.
Do you really think it was made in Malaysia, or they're just slapping that on there?
Well, maybe we can order a bunch of made on Malaysia stickers real fast and slap them on all our drones.
Okay, he's talking about here. Skydio has an office in the Capitol, right next to Representative Stefan. But here we were talking about this too. It can't just be Skydio alone that teased them with enough money to do this. It had to have been a combination of like Skydio, Walmart, FedEx, UPS, all of them went with a fat chunk of change and went, look, We don't want to deal with any of those crazy pilots in the sky while we're delivering merchandise. We want them out of the sky. And they went, oh, sure, we got you.
After they took the bag of money.
Oh, wait a minute. What? Something, John posted a link last week about Anzu. Well, she's already said that she was going to go after the white label drones companies too. But the whole point is where's it going to stop? Oh God, here we go off on another weird tangent again. Whee! Go ahead. Anybody?
And Randall Ward is the only employee of Anzio. In our questioning on Bill the Drone Review show, he didn't seem threatened by this bill at all. He thought they had met everything they need to do to keep still selling their Anzio drones, even if this CCP bill got passed in both the Congress and the Senate and signed by the president. He still thought he would be okay.
Blackhorn. But the thing about it is doesn't the military, most of their drones, combat drones, Skydio now? The X10?
I think Parrot makes some military drones too.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Right. Yeah.
Where is Autel manufactured? Does anyone know?
They're mainly an automotive. Yeah,
it's all in company. Yeah.
And actually, it's an automotive company that he bought his son. He's like, son, what do you want to do? He's like, Dad, I want to build drones. And so he gave him Autel drones.
Max.
Oh, Autel has. Dale says Max. Autel has some in Vietnam.
Okay. You think that'll get them by? Because they're mentioned on that new bill by John Tester from, is it Wyoming or someplace like that? He's got a new bill, and he even in option 3 of his bill, he's even says he talk about all Chinese drones. He's not just single DJI out.
Well, we got two things that we were also pointing out. We were also talking about. So one, we know that that somehow DJI is going to be put on the covered list. We know it's going to happen because they're not even going to pay attention to that part of the bill when they reconcile. You know that. They're not even going to look at it twice.
Right.
So the whole point is where do we go from there? But she's got that other bill, which is first responder drones for first responders, right?
Right.
Okay, and in it has tariffs to help build our U.S. drone technology, right?
Right.
Okay, well, if you have already put DJI on the cover list, what the hell are you going to tariff?
And now you're throwing every other Chinese drone in. So yeah, what are you tariffing?
Exactly.
So cutting their nose off to spite their face.
Exactly. That's my whole point. You're trying to say this. So this is how desperate they were to cut DJI off. That's why
maybe Bill, I may have an answer. Maybe they'll tariff the existing DJI drones that'll still be allowed to be sold.
Oh wow, man!
You know what I mean? Like for instance, say a current drone like the Air 3. The Air 3 can still be sitting on the shelf at Best Buy in 5 years from now selling, and they'll tariff that.
Right, as long as they don't. Wait a minute. But the big thing is, and like John was pointing out, he threw it up there. Anzu quick analysis. Okay. Anyway, but another point that John brought up, and Drew and I were also talking about beforehand. Homeland Security is accusing us of being a problem, a potential threat with our drones. That we shouldn't have our drones, that we are not capable of handling our drones in a responsible manner. So that's another thing that's going against us.
What if I inform Homeland and I have my drone in low data mode?
Well, the whole point is they're not looking at what kind of low data mode or anything. They're looking at what those drones are doing in Ukraine, and they're saying we could easily do the exact same thing here. Because look how we've done with other things that we're allowed to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we can't control ourselves.
What could, but what has actually happened in that vein in the U.S. is zero.
Right. So
we're basically arresting somebody before the crime's committed.
Here's the thing. Here's my thought on it. This bill is packaged within the 2025 defense budget, which is going to be enacted is it April next year?
I don't know.
April, May, February, April, somewhere in that area. So it's probably not. I was probably wrong. It may be January. I don't know. I have no idea for sure. But the defense budget's going to go through. They're not going to just go suddenly say, we're not going to feed the troops. We're not going to pay the troops. That's not going to happen. So it will get passed. It will get signed. Now, just maybe it'll be signed by a different person, but it's not going to be but months rather than years. Because I don't think the other gentleman likes China much better than this guy.
No, yeah.
I don't think either one of them like the guy.
There's no China lovers running for any offices.
Yeah, I'm like, so either way, more likely they're gonna.
How does this resort to every other microchip piece of technology that's coming out of China or have touched the CCP in any way, whether it's in our phone or our computer or a Tesla or wherever it's been? Doesn't this open up a can of worms to every consumer product that?
That's exactly what we're screaming about. This is 10 times more lethal than my drone. It's got more about me than my drone would ever hold.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we're saying. We think that this is just, like I said, it's just a big fat wad of cash thrown down on the table and says, we just need DJI gone.
Yeah, it don't have, in my opinion, it doesn't have anything to do with data or data security. It's all political.
Now,
And
we know that DJI has had humanitarian issues. We're not denying that. And we're not denying because remember, wasn't it at one time DJI admitted to like following their people or something?
Well, 2016, 2017, I believe his name is Kevin Pfister, actually like has pictures of them having like people's data, like say, I don't know, their license plate, their driver's license stuff. So they were retaining some kind of data, but we're talking 8 years ago this was found. And what they haven't connected dots is they haven't connected that they've taken any data and passed it on to the Chinese military. Like, what would the Chinese military want with my driver's license?
That's what we're saying. We're not saying that it's exactly that they've been, clean in the issue.
Isn't it just more information that the CCP is going to have to sift through to find anything meaningful?
But since all that happened, they house all the stuff on Amazon servers, correct, Ron?
Yeah, none of it's even going to China.
It doesn't even get there now. It stays on U.S. servers.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of it being. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, U.S. servers, and like I said, you have the option to put almost all your modern DJI drones in low data mode, where you transfer no data to any servers. So
I'm just looking through because John's like really animated about, and we're not saying that. Ron just went over that. We were just talking about.
Yeah. I mean, in this discussion here, this discussion is not about DJI taking users' data like their credit cards or licenses. This discussion is about DJI stealing things that can be used by the CCP. The Chinese military doesn't care about my credit card, my driver's license. They only care, about stuff that could be military wise. I don't know how the average drone flyer who fly like Randy flies over their local parks and rivers and things like that, lighthouses, how that's of any use to the Chinese military. Randy, the footage, you think the Chinese military is interested in Northeast River or, that farm you did the FPV flight over? What good is that going to do? And that's typical footage from you, me, most of us. We're filming stuff that is of no use to anybody.
Yep, that's another thing that leads you to believe it's not about the information.
It's
about money.
What's the website and I know Steven Sutton from Flyby Guys has used it, talks about it a lot. The one that's got, you can get your wind direction and speed at whatever height, and it's got, you can put in your coordinates and everything. I can't remember
a whole bunch of those apps. I don't know which one he uses.
Well, like Lance was talking about just now, that he's got to have to pay because now, what is it, UAV Coach or whatever, only gives you 100 feet.
UAV Forecast is a popular one, and now has a pay portable.
Yeah, anything above 100 feet, you got to pay for
And,
it.
you don't get much. You only get a couple hours in advance. Like used to be, you could look at UAV forecast to see days ahead. Now you can only see a couple hours ahead.
I have a I have an
Days
app called the
ahead.
Windy app, and you can see up to like I think it's like 5,000 feet and
Yeah,
up to
that's
like a
very
week
popular.
ahead.
Lauren Donner, that's his favorite app, Windy.
Yeah,
Windy.
it doesn't have the fancy stuff like Good to Fly, and I don't think it has satellites, but the wind is really all I'm worried about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
need that KP stuff anymore because all our modern drones aren't really
Yeah,
affected anymore by all that stuff.
yep.
I mean, unless it's extreme situation, you very rarely have any problems with any KP anymore interfering with your signal.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there was something else that, okay, I've got a couple of things.
Okay.
Here's something that may be an issue. Now, here the rumor is, and if you all saw originally where that picture that Igor came up with, it came from another site that has been like semi-dormant, now suddenly just sprung to life. It has that computer mock-up of the Air 3, but it's talking about that under that little nub that you see at the front part is a place for a 4G module. And you know they're never going to let that in here with all this chaos going on if it's got a 4G module on it.
Right. Right.
And the other thing
I
is,
did see that, Bill.
the other thing is a 1-inch sensor and a 1/1.3. And I'm assuming the 1/1.3 is the zoom, right?
Yeah.
So it won't be two 1/1/3. So it'll be just 1 inch. That's why it's going to have the S.
But that's what
So-
I don't want. I don't want a 1-inch wide angle and a 1/1/3 3x telly. I want them both be the same sensor size, so they
That's-
look the same.
I have a feeling the telly is
Excuse
going to
me.
be a 1/1/3, and the main camera is going to be a 1 inch.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
we're
thinking.
going to be just like we're back on the Mavic 3 Pro series, where you look like you're filming from two different drones when you put the footage together.
Because if you look closely at that picture of the camera, the shape of the camera kind of resembles the OG Mavic 3, where it's kind of more square and the top sensor is a little smaller than the bottom.
But yeah, but here's my thing. If you look at that bird when it's flying, right? It's beefier than the Air 3. It's bigger than the Air 3. So to me, it's a bigger drone than even the Air 3. Closer to the Mavic 3 size. And then if you think, okay, it's Mavic 3 size on the body, that camera housing is bigger. And if you remember, the first Mavic 3 that came out had 2 lenses on it.
Right.
So they've just improved on the way they've, that 2 lens setup is what they've learned from the Air 3. It's better to do it that way. So instead of seeing that War of the Worlds, thing on the new Mavic 4, we could potentially just have that same 2. And instead of it could be a 1-inch zoom, and then underneath it a micro 4/3.
I think the body of it is the Air 3 because I compared the photo to my Air 3 and it's identical. It looks identical to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and Bill, it varies from what picture or video look at or whatever. Some it looks bigger, some it doesn't.
Well,
It
if you
could
go that video, wait a minute, let me go to his
The
page.
2-second video he posted the other day. Yeah.
It's not from him.
Right.
It's not from him. Hang on, let me. Okay, I have
If
to-
they go any bigger, they're going to be in the Mavic 3 size because it's damn close to the Mavic 3 already.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't want my Air 3 to get bigger. I
No.
don't want my Air 4 any bigger. It's called the Air. I don't want it any bigger than it is now.
See, that's a beefier bird, man.
Bill, do you think there's any chance we're back to this being the Mavic 4 and them just getting it wrong, calling it the Air 3S?
That's what I'm thinking, and I think that it's going to have a one. See, look at that. That's a bigger bird. That's a much. You don't think that's heavier from the side? Look at that in the air.
It does look thicker. It does on that shot, but I'm seeing other shots where it doesn't look thicker. And I don't know if these are the same ones actually. Who knows?
Well, the outtake of this looks very similar. Let me see. Let me go. Let me get rid of this. Bring this back down. Pull it out of the scene. And because
I
they
can
take
tell
that.
if they took all those stickers off.
And here's the picture that he because this is a still from the. Hang on, let me
From the
get
plate.
back over
From the
here.
2-second plate.
See, the Air 3 is a pretty thick bird from the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's pretty beefy itself.
But what I'm saying is this one looks a tad longer. It also looks more of Mavic color, a deeper, darker gray than the lighter air gray.
Wait.
Let me.
Air 3?
Excuse me. No, I'm saying
Air 3S.
like you know, like the. Well, I think that like to me the Mavic 3 seems darker in color.
Oh,
than
it is.
The
It
actual
is.
plastic seems darker.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah.
I mean, but here's
what
the thing, Bill. The thing is, nobody really wants the Air 3S. People want the Mavic 4. The Mavic 4 should be next, not another air drone. It's the Mavic 4's time to come out. Nobody really wants another. The current Air is fine. Give us a Mavic 4.
This
okay,
is
so-
There you go. There's
Yeah,
a Mavic 3.
there we go,
Yeah.
Randy.
So
Yeah.
see what I'm talking about, and then okay, now we'll
This-
do this. We'll bring this picture.
Now, Randy,
yeah.
put yours up about the same position that the, there you go.
Or let me
It
spin
might be. It might
See,
be.
it's kind of deceiving. Randy's looks almost as big right
Yep,
there.
it does. And it is the cowling is cut the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's not cut as same as the 3.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Put them side by side, Bill.
Randy's even got the stickers.
I wish I could.
Yeah, let me spin that.
Hang on, let me do
Yeah,
this. Let's
it's
do
about the
this.
same. I'd almost say the
Wait a
Air
minute,
3 is a
now
little
stop.
thicker.
Okay.
Let me do this way.
I don't know.
I don't have a battery in.
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
okay. That's okay. Yeah, but it is darker plastic. See what I'm saying? It's a little bit darker plastic, and
Yeah, the
and
Mavic
this
3
appears.
is a little bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, batteries are bigger.
but in that, but see the underside is Air 3. That cowling
Yeah.
underneath, it's more
And-
squared on the Mavic 3.
And
this
those
is-
vents, those
Yeah, the
vents
vent-
look exactly
Yeah,
the
the-
same.
They're rounded instead of squared.
See the Air 3 vents?
Yeah. And the Mavic 3 has is got hard edges.
Hey, Bill, question for you: if it is the Air 3S and it goes to back to 1 and sensor, at least the main camera, will we also go back to 5 point something K video?
Wait a minute. No, I'm trying to catch up here. We got all in depth there. See, John Cooper is saying U.S. servers will never satisfy the issues due to Chinese law that allows them to order access at their behest. In 2017, they were also okay. So I guess that doesn't protect anything. And then Dre says it's all Ron Brown's fault.
Guilty as charged.
And then Mark White says, closed out all the Chinese people from Chinese, bar people from eating Chinese food.
There you go, boy. The politicians they would all get voted out if they did that.
Anyway, let's see. Did anybody let's see. This is going to be make other arguments. Get a Femi Mini or something that will hold you.
Yeah,
no,
well,
we're pretty sure
yeah.
that
The problem is that it looks like the FEMI's drones are going to fall in this too, and I mean we'll still be able to follow your current FEMI's, but you won't. We're up to FEMI Mini 3 now. It won't be a FEMI Mini 4.
John's really busting my bubble.
The only people worried about the ban are I don't know. I'm still flying my drones. I really don't care about the ban.
I'm not
care
worried
about the
about it.
ban when they tell me I won't ever care about the ban because according to all the experts, I can fly my current drones forever.
Yep, and if they quit making them right now, I think I'd be pretty happy with what I got.
I got great drones right now. Just let me get them repaired and get batteries or whatever.
Now, Chuck
Yeah.
brought up a good point that we're dancing around. We're not thinking of. It's any product that uses the FCC system. So, like your pockets, your actions, your gimbals, all that stuff get cut off. So
Yeah,
there's
well,
basically
my current Action and Pockets are great cameras too. I don't really need one for years and
Yeah.
years.
right, but the whole point is there's that we wouldn't get anything new. But from what everybody else, and here's my thing, I had people laughing at us and saying DJI is never going to get banned in the U.S. And
Yeah.
here we are talking about how serious it is, and suddenly all the consumer drone people, all the professional. And I'm not trying to bust on anybody that's got a 107 here. I'm like they've all realized that it could cut into their money, and so they've gone and said, "Hey, we need to do something about this." And what I'm afraid of is it's too little, too late. I really am. I'm not trying to be mean about that, but I'm afraid it's just like I said. They're
You
gonna
think
do.
Stefanik would react different if she'd have got a bunch of emails from drone flyers a couple years ago or something? Or
I don't think that our biggest problem is we don't have anybody with a national audience. Nobody that could be, hey, I'm a movie star and I love flying DJI products. I'm a senator and I love flying DJI products.
The first
We don't,
responders are our biggest voice.
yeah,
but
Yeah.
they don't care. They're using them to if so. And that's the crazy thing. And what it is it just seems like it's so that they're just out to get rid of DJI, period, because they are afraid that nobody can compete, which is true. There's nothing good, so we're stuck this way. It's
I
either
that's I don't understand how they're saying they want to. One of the reasons they want to get rid of Chinese drones is so American drone companies can innovate and produce something better. But my thing is they're not producing anything right now. So what are they going to improve on?
yeah.
well that's
I had Vic Moss on the show the other week, and I asked him. I said, Vic, in 5 years, can our U.S. drone companies that don't really exist now go from nothing to producing DJI quality drones? He even let me get the question out of mouth. He said, no, 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 10 times before I even finished the question.
Yeah, I
well
don't
Not
see
going
it.
to happen.
I've said it here 50 million times. Unless DJI takes a time out, which they're not,
There's
they
no
said,
catching
okay,
up.
we'll stop making drones for 10 years. We promise.
Yeah,
We
and
won't even develop anything.
a company like DJI is already 5 to 10 years ahead of where they already know where they're going to be 5 to 10 years from now today. So it's interesting to think about what technology they're already working on that we're never going to see.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah, where was Unique built at? Where did Unique come from?
I'm guessing Chinese, but I don't know that.
Because he's talking about. He's got his old H plus. That's a Unique in it. That big,
Yeah.
like the 6 props. You know what that is?
Now, what happened to Unique Bill? Did they go enterprise too and forget the consumers?
I think they just folded.
I did
I
reach
think.
out to and they never reached back out to me.
Yeah.
I should follow back up with them. I did reach out to is it Femi?
Femi,
Um,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and they unfortunately don't do any like collaborations at this time, so I wasn't able to get my hands on anything.
Oh, they fed you a line of bullshit.
Yeah. No. Well, no. Femi doesn't send out review units.
Okay.
No,
So how does
not,
Marcus do it?
but that they
He
did
buys them.
respond. It's
Oh, he
nice.
buys it? Oh.
Sometimes they give you a small discount. Like they'll maybe give you like 20% off is the best they'll do.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
So,
okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I'm just saying I'm gonna work. I'm definitely gonna work on getting any type of like replacement DJI drone like on my hands. Like I did get a Potensic Atom, but is that technically gonna be falling under this bill?
That's Chinese too. So that's
Yeah.
going to fall in the broader
Your
bill.
best bet would be Anzu or Spectre.
Yeah. And
Or go on eBay and find a discontinued Skydio too.
I
Yeah.
know. That's the other thing is that's why I reached out to Skydio and Autel, and unfortunately, those were the two that. It's interesting that you would think they would want to roll out this huge campaign if they are going to replace DJI. You would think that we would be seeing some proactive
Yeah.
campaign from some of these replacement manufacturers, but we're just seeing like nothing at all. It's a little
Yeah,
bizarre.
Alltel definitely all Chinese, so they're going to
Yeah,
fall
they're-
under the same ban. The only way they have out is to make a white label drone like DJI is trying to do.
Yeah.
And all tells they move at a snail's pace. So be 5 years before they get their white
Let's do
label drone.
that. What is it?
No one can compare to like DJI's marketing too. Let's just be honest. It's the most fun brand to get behind and
Yeah.
engage with. To be honest, as a creator, it's definitely one of the ones that gets you most excited about flying a drone. Some of the other marketing I've seen from competitors, it feels bizarre. It feels like lackluster in a lot of ways. So
Yeah. And their release videos are pretty awesome.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's definitely what got me into this whole industry. So just feels a rug pull for sure.
Yeah, I know it's unique. I don't think there's any other like electronics feel like that. Like it's like say if you're into regular cameras, well, there's Sony, there's Nikon, there's Canon, there's a whole bunch of real good cameras. If one of them is gone, it would make like Sony's the top, but it wouldn't make any difference if they were gone. The other companies make fine cameras.
There's your white label drone.
There's a white
Why, it
label,
looks just like a Mavic 3.
Hey,
a Mavic 3 Enterprise.
That's
That
what
is-
we're talking. The guy that was going to go in and save Altel
Right.
actually sells these now because they are, what do we call it? They're white label, but basically what it is DJI supposedly sends them the parts.
No,
And then-
no.
Not according
They
to
said they
Randall.
have.
Oh, wait a
Yeah, he
minute.
has his own supplier that it's totally separate of DJI.
really?
He sources all the parts,
Right.
maybe some Taiwan or whatever, but none of them come from mainland China.
Right. That's what he said.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what he said. So I
But
can't
how do
verify
how do
it.
all them parts snap together? Where's the guide come from?
He said if DJI was to shut down, he could still operate because he sources from. I mean, basically, it's from who DJI sources from, but they're no tie to DJI.
I'm not sure I buy that one. Because, I mean, come on, look at this. Look at this.
This looks
That-
like a map.
It's a Mavic 3.
Enterprise.
It is.
Yeah, it's a Mavic
Yeah.
3 Enterprise, correct. And so trying to say that he sources because the whole point is it okay, so it just happens to look like a Mavic 3. The boards that go in it happen to look like the board. So
No. He said it's basically it's a Mavic 3,
right.
but it's
I think maybe he's purchased their design, but
Right.
I don't think you can purchase somebody's design without being a Chinese company. Like, say, I could go buy the design of the Ford Mustang and make a car, and it wouldn't be a Mustang. I just bought the design.
But if that's true and he is he's trying to say that he sources his parts from the same place that DJI does. And I'm like, wait a minute. DJI is the innovator of drone technology.
I don't think
So
source their parts
if
from
there's
mainland
any
China.
company that's telling
Right.
what parts need to be made how, it's DJI. So these might be some supply company in Malaysia but the whole point is I guarantee you they're owned and run by a shell company that's owned by DJI.
Yeah, and I believe even this drone he has here it's a more advanced model from DJI. So all these white label people seem to have a generation older old drones.
Oh,
Right.
so this one's an old, not a
Not
newer
older,
drone.
I think there's already a more advanced model of it sold by DJI only.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Again, I don't. If anybody's in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Hell yeah, I got an idea then. Hey DJI, we want the schematics for the Phantom 4 Pro. Can we have those, please?
Well, he's
Speaking
not
of
saying,
Phantom-
he's not saying he was given these schematics. You have to pay for them, but
Well, I get that, but we would
license
all-
them probably.
Would you like to have your own Phantom 5 Pro?
I want the schematics from the never released Phantom 5 bill.
That's what I'm saying. So then we could just build our own over here because we could source our parts from the same company that used to make Phantom parts for DJI
And
because
we'll
they're
call it the
just
drone
struggling now.
we'll call it the Drone Therapy 5 drone or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
The DT5.
Speaking of Phantom 4, Drew, did you
Manufacturers. I didn't know
you
the
get
Phantom,
your?
You didn't know
Okay.
what?
that the Phantom was a different manufacturer than the other DJI drones. Like supplier of parts.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised.
Did you get your
what's it-
Phantom 4 fixed, Drew?
You know what's funny is after 6.5 years of flying that drone, I never had an issue. Even when I clipped the tree one time, it just completely weed whacked the hell out of this tree and stayed stable. I loved that drone. It was my flagship forever. It had the best attitude of any drone I've ever flown. And then what happened was the image sensor just completely went on me, which means like all of a sudden when I was flying and taking pictures, I had all this white and red pixelation. So it just the image sensor to identify the correct colors. So I was just getting all this like, I mean, I could probably create some cool, grainy black and white aerial footage with my Phantom 4 now, but that's all I can do.
You could probably get that fixed though from DJI, right? Are they still do they offer service for the Phantom 4?
I have thought about just getting maybe even an upgraded camera attached on the gimbal, and I mean that bird flies.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
Spectre Air, doesn't it look strangely like the Air 3? Wow.
They didn't even bother.
Didn't
They didn't even bother painting theirs green, Bill. They left the same paint coat on.
Yeah, even molded from the same plastic, right?
Didn't Bill say you can get batteries next month? I think batteries and support for the.
Yes, he
Oh,
said that. He said that's what he
wow.
said Tuesday. Yep.
That might make it worth it then, because as it sits now, what point is it having just one battery and no service?
Right.
Right.
And there's no sense of buying that drone. There's no sense of buying anything Spectre until the ban takes effect, and that's the only way you can get the more modern drone.
But it's going to be so.
Why would you buy an Air 3 clone now? Because you can still you can now and forever buy it from DJI.
But the second that ban goes into place, don't tell me.
Then we come into play because
that becomes a $4,000 drone. Then
yeah.
Now the current drones you got now are going to go up because you can't get them no more.
right. That's what I'm saying. This drone, the Spectre Air, if they still import this drone, the minute that DJI gets cut off, these drones are going to go. They're not going to care about tariffs. They're going to go up to just under what a DJI drone would cost with a tariff on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that you'll, okay, I can either buy this DJI or I can buy this DJI knockoff for $50 cheaper. You'll still buy the $50 cheaper one.
And I can get the current version. The knockoff will be the current version too, because they're still making. They'll make we'll say the Air 4. The Spectre Air 4 will be out. The DJI Air 4 will be banned.
Right.
Or or Air, whatever the ban goes in effect. Air 5, whatever the current drone is at that time.
Well, see, that's the thing. I didn't think that it would be kind of a phase out thing. I figured the way I understand it is as soon as they get put on that covered list, nothing else from DJI will be approved by the FCC.
That's the way I understand it too.
Nothing. So it won't be a 6-year phase out or anything like that. The scary part at that point is we've got to wonder if they will retroactively revoke those licenses or not.
And all the experts, I'll call them, say no. That you'll still fire current drones forever.
Okay, and I got a question.
Howie or Huawei, whatever it's called, they still let you use your Huawei phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But okay, let me ask you this, Ron.
There's 5 Huawei phones still in use.
These experts that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Weren't they the same people that were telling us, no, DJI will never get banned?
If we re-roll the tape back again, or
yeah. If we roll the tape back it's a couple of years ago, DJI will never get banned. Mark my words. I've even heard a couple of them say that. Yeah. And now they're all at once going, we need to be in an upper age. And I'm like, you should have been dancing on the tables and screaming at congressmen 5 years ago. Where the hell were you? I had to build my website and build my following first. I'm like, then you shouldn't have been there in the first place.
I built my Squarespace website that year.
Do you remember the question that I put in Drone Therapy chat earlier? I asked you if a certain individual had appeared before Congress or had attempted to appear before Congress, and nobody really had an answer because they weren't sure. And if so, if that had happened and that particular person had done that, they would have advertised that fact. My point is you're representing us, our voice. You should be screaming that we're pissed. We've been pissed for 5 years since they shoved remote ID down our throat. But the people that said they had our backs and were our voices have done jack. Show me what they have done for us.
Honestly, I don't think it would have done any good. I
Yeah,
think
it
they're
would have
gonna.
too. Because if me, I'd have gone so crazy that CNN would have went, this crazy dude from Washington, originally from Southwest Virginia, went in before Congress today, threw off his clothes, and it said on his chest, I love DJI. At least it would be national news.
News
Yeah.
and sex.
Bill,
And then
Bill,
maybe some twisted daytime TV show like The View would ask me to come on, and I'd be like, I want to fly my drone, damn it. I don't want to hear anything about
And
it.
before the show's over, Whoopi Goldberg will be flying a drone on the set.
That's my whole point. If you could actually show and get that, our problem is we don't have a national spokesperson with any kind of voice
Yeah.
that anybody's going to hear.
You're right.
So
Like, too bad Tom Cruise wasn't in the drones or something
Right.
like that. Or,
I want to know where's Terrence Howard at? When the FAA was having the protest, he was there doing the protest. He flies FPV. I wonder why he's not saying nothing right now.
Because that's another thing. Most of the people that fly FPV are like the 107 pilots. They didn't think it was going to affect them, and if it did, it was going to take a little while. And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure that they're even really going to mess with FPV. I don't think they will. I think that once they smash DJI, they'll pretty much back off.
Because you just have to build your own. You just can't
Yeah.
buy it.
Yeah, and most of the FPV guys fly low to the ground. And they're probably not in the way of the delivery drone.
And not just that, they know that the camera drone pilots, that they're worried about being up there and smashing into an Amazon drone or a Walmart drone or whatever. They need to have a GPS drone that stays stable, because most of the people that fly camera drones, not most, but quite a few, I have an issue myself with motion sickness. So it takes me, I have to like push through probably half a pack before I'll get past the queasiness.
Right.
But then once I get past it, I'm okay. But a lot of camera drone pilots can't fly FPV because of the motion sickness thing. So
I almost got sick one time flying the Avata when I first got it. Like, I almost got sick, but after you do it a few times, it becomes second nature.
Right.
I was like,
I have no problems, with getting dizzy flying goggles. But one time I was standing on like down the beach. I was standing on kind of a wood deck that was kind of rickety. So the thing was moving, and the drone was moving. That's the only time I ever felt a little motion sickness, when I was on a moving platform.
right.
With goggles on.
When I had the
If I have my feet on the sidewalk or whatever, I'm
I'll keep them
golden,
going. I'm gonna get something to drink.
right, when I had the FPV drone, the DJI FPV, it was always up high, so I
Yeah.
never had a problem. But when I got the Avata flying like a foot off the ground, something about it didn't set right, and I almost got sick.
Okay, well, yeah, I never had the DJI FPV. I started with the Avata one. I had tiny loops before that. Basically, just flew in the house. But the Avata was maybe my first outside, or good outdoor flying. And I never knew this, but I put the goggles on. I had the chair, and I was leaning in. I all of a sudden I stood up or whatever. Oh, I don't even need that chair or whatever. This is it's not bothering me at all. Drew, do you fly FPV at all?
I was just about to ask.
Oh, to be honest, it's something that the Avata 2 is actually a drone I really want, and I might still just buy despite this ban. I just don't even. I think, especially if this is one of those things where we're grandfathered in, the more DJI drones, the better.
It doesn't matter.
No, I just don't know how they're going to police any of this, anyways. But I really would love to get an Avata 2. I would love to kind of get full peripheral and just kind of go to town. I do see a lot of, especially with the real estate. There's
I just see a lot of realtors down here want this fly-through shots. Yeah, especially for social media like your TikToks or so, and that house fly-through.
Yeah, for sure. Does the Avata have any like obstacle avoidance or anything like that?
No, and you won't want it in there because you don't want the thing beeping and
True.
But see, but the thing is, when you have the goggles on, you're like the cockpit of a plane. You do better with the goggles than you do on like a mini with the obstacle avoidance. Believe me, you can see thin wires, you can see everything. from the goggles
That's-
out of that camera.
I really,
The
to
only
be honest,
sensors it has are right
I
here.
have fun with that thing. Wow. Here, I'm gonna
It
look
kind of
over.
helps you back it into something, right? Or
Yeah, yep. For position hold when you don't have GPS for like
yeah.
inside.
And you see a couple of
Oh,
videos that works fine. People have zero GPS, and that thing still sits there like a rock.
Yeah.
yeah. That is what I think is the best part about DJI drones in particular is their stability and their ability to just hover in place when not in use. And I think that's also what makes them one of the safer ones. And what else doesn't really make sense to me is specifically like a lot of my drones do have the obstacle avoidance. So if like an Amazon delivery drone comes flying through, my Mavic 3 isn't going to let it hit it. It's going to avoid it. And I just don't understand how that's. It seems so autonomous that human error sometimes. I do understand it's still a thing, but there's been times where I mean, there's been flocks of pigeons that have like exploded out of the bottom of like a pier in the ocean that I just never would have been able to avoid. But my Mavic 3 just completely slammed on the brakes and it was fine. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. The technology is at a point where it seems silly to ban the safest and best and most advanced technological drone company for the sake of safety and security. It just seems a little bad.
Yeah.
Problem
I mean,
solved, said Hubson.
Yeah, if they have some kind of smoking gun, like if they have some sort of data showing that the Chinese military has all this important infrastructure, if they actually showed what's happening and why it's dangerous, I would have a whole different view than just expecting me to believe it because I don't care what side of the politics you're on or whatever. I don't trust politicians from either of the two. Groups or whatever. So I'm not trusting any politician
Right.
without them showing me the facts.
And even if it is, give them a criteria to comply with. Give them a chance to comply. Show them what you want from it. Why just ban it outright?
They're
I just don't
already
understand.
trying. They already took the data. The flight logs are already gone. They've implemented this low data mode where you could turn any information going out of the drone to the internet or Bluetooth or anything. So right now you could buy a DJI drone. Billy Kyle has a video. Buy a DJI drone. He did. He bought a new DJI Mini 4 Pro. He used the email he just made up to register to activate the drone. Then he deleted the email they only used one time, put it in low data mode. So that drone is never ever going to connect to the internet. He's never ever going to transmit any data anyplace. He'll take the memory card out to take that out and put it to his computer, and it's never going to send anything out to anybody. So how is that a threat to us? Or Bill, go ahead, answer my question.
No, my question is, why is he just now making that video?
He made the day that the Congress looked at the bill or whatever. Or that goes
Yeah,
in the thing or whatever.
it's like
Yeah.
throwing bricks in the Grand Canyon at this
I
point.
agree. I agree.
They should. The whole point Billy has been on this show before, and Billy was one of them people that said DJI would never get banned. Dono was on here before. Dono said DJI would never get banned. Although when push come to shove, Dono was the only person that called out Skydio. The only person
He's still calling him out.
that said, But my thing is we can't put all the eggs in the Skydio basket, because granted they got their own lobbyists. I'm not denying that, but one lobbyist from Skydio is not going to throw enough
I agree.
money.
I think Scotty is maybe the voice. To like find whoever, but the real money behind is from those other big companies you had.
Yeah, exactly. And they're allowing Skydio to word everything. They're, like you said, they're
because the other big companies wouldn't know how to work because they don't understand drones. Skydio does.
Yeah, and Skydio can make it sound like that they're the worst thing on the planet when everything that they're saying in this release is all a bunch of horse shit. And it doesn't. It says, well, they could possibly be sharing your location to
possibly,
China.
Yeah.
They could
possibly those words are said a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, but the thing about it is they write 14 pages worth of terrifying language to say it could possibly be going to China, but they don't say it could possibly be going to China.
Right. To a whole bunch of Chinese that don't know anything about drones, it seems real scary.
Yeah. So but and I mean I'm trying not to be all doomsday about this, but I'm praying that this time like I brought up with Ron before, how many of the same people that are telling us now that our grandfather devices will continue to work were not the same people that told us 2.5, 3 years ago DJI will never get banned. Even Ryan, the lawyer dude, DJI will never get banned. You know, they've all said it. I'm the only dumbass that from the time they started talking about remote ID said they were going to kick us out of the sky. But I was blaming Amazon and all them, which we're pretty sure is who's behind it anyway. That's who I was blaming. Because
Well, they're
Gary
not
brought that up last week.
Right.
they're not kicking us out of the sky. They're just kicking us off the Chinese train. You know, you just gotta find something else.
Okay, let's be honest. Does anybody here think they're going to be a United States consumer drone after Homeland Security says the private citizen isn't capable of flying a drone responsibly? Now, are we going to have one?
Oh, so,
No.
so eventually, first responders won't have any type of drones either.
Right, and people like Lee Bessing are going to be out of a job. Because the guy's going to have to go, the phone guy's going to have to go out there and manually climb every damn one of those poles. And then the electrical guy's going to have to climb every damn one of them poles and check each one of those. And every one of them is going to slow everything down more. And wait till power starts going out. Oh,
Right.
just wait till... And you guys got to hike all the way out there and figure out where exactly that transformer blew. Or could it just be a bad fitting somewhere down here? He's got to go up there and check, come back down and go to the next one and climb up there and check. Hell, it could be days when ordinarily it would have only taken an hour or two.
Or even worse, when Grandpa gets lost in the woods and you need to go find him with a thermal drone, and it takes 6 hours to boot up and get everything ready. People's lives are at stake.
Well, maybe you can ask the Walmart drone to look for Grandpa while he's delivering the tube socks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey, Grandpa, quick, order something from Amazon.
They'll find you.
They'll drop it off, then we'll know. All we'll do is follow the package.
Now, Bill, when all these delivery drones get put into place, well, some of them they're already delivering packages someplace or other. But when the sky is filled with these delivery drones, are you telling me these delivery drones will not have any Chinese parts in them at all?
Ooh. Right here.
That's
He's telling
what-
you right now.
Understand how this doesn't open it up to every single industry everywhere all at once, and that to me is what I am hoping will stop this thing or at least slow it down. Is a lot of other industries saying, hold on, we need these chips to, I don't know, it just seems like a kind of a discrimination thing. But like you said, not as many people are fired up about drones as we are. So
What I've said before is the sad thing is this isn't going to be something that will cause somebody to turn their vote. So it's the fight is pretty much over with. I don't
They're
know.
not going to turn people's votes because most people don't even understand. Unless you're a diehard drone person like us, you don't even understand what's going on. You're not going to turn
Well,
votes. A regular person can't even comprehend what we're talking about here.
Well, even out of and that's true because my wife's birthday party this weekend, I was speaking to one of my friends who was in the military, didn't have any idea about it. Was talking to me, he's like, "Why aren't you flying your drone?" I said, "Well, I'm kind of depressed about my drone right now." And then I explained it to him, and he was like, "What?" And he was like, and then he literally when I said that, he looked at me and goes, "What about this?" And I was like,
It makes
Hey.
sense.
Yeah. Every one of these has Chinese parts in.
"This guy was a tank driver, man," and he was like, "What about this?"
am I a security threat when I'm taking pictures out of a plane, 30,000 feet above the sky? Are we all national security threats once we're airborne? I'm just confused at what's the difference between. There's so many gray areas and caveats to this whole thing. It's really kind of, it's laughable on some people, but it's also just depressing. So,
Well, and then you find out that they've got this stigma against China, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm looking into this drone, and then you find out that the majority of all of it is produced and pushed out of China. Like I'm really hoping, I'm really trying to figure out that how Randall is getting parts from a company that makes them for DJI. Hopefully she'll snag that quickly. Or she's not up yet. Any day now, baby. Come on.
That's Randall Warren is calling in.
Yeah. He's like, hey, don't tell anybody, but I'm actually getting my parts from China. Let's see. Hey, what's going on,
Gunstar.
Kai? Hadn't seen Kai in a while. Of course,
You
I don't
probably,
blame you, Kai. I've seen why you're not amongst all these live streams, and I don't blame you, sir. I'm glad that you're happy now.
I wonder where Angel's at.
Angel got married on Saturday, and he's taking care of a sick family.
Oh, okay.
Sunday, got married on Sunday. Take that back. Got married on Sunday.
His
Okay,
pictures-
so
the wedding
what
pictures are
about?
on Facebook?
I think here's the thing, and here's what's going to blow y'all's mind. I think that they're going to back off once they get DJI on the covered list. But the thing that scares the piss out of me, if they're, like Ron's saying, where's the beef? That's what we've all been saying. We've been saying it the whole time. Where's the beef? And
Right.
you got to, if you're not old enough to understand that, just Google "where's the beef" and you'll find out why I'm saying that. Anyway, oh, come on, baby. But the thing about it is the thing that they're claiming is the problem, right? That they're claiming is the security breach or whatever are the drones and the devices we have now.
Right.
And that's what I've tried to say. The logic is if they're saying those are a security threat and why we need to add DJI to the covered list, wouldn't they need to shut them down retroactively in order to save face? Or are we so minute that once they get DJI on the covered list, they'll say, okay, we're done?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they really,
Yeah.
like I said, because this isn't a you're going to lose my vote issue. You took my drone away, but you belong to this party. I'll vote for you. Or you belong to this party. I'll vote for you. But the one issue of them taking your drone away will not, especially now where we're so polarized,
Yeah, well,
will not convince someone to vote the other way.
The drone bill is bipartisan. Both parties are trying to take the drones
I
away.
totally-
There is no party split on drones.
Well, I like I've told before, I like my political party down the middle. I'll take the ones on the left in the middle. I'll take the ones on the right that are in the middle. But the ones out there on the fringes need to go start a new party somewhere.
Right.
I don't want them wild ones.
But I think the center ones are the ones trying to take the drones away, unfortunately, not the ones on the ends.
Stefanik is one in the middle. Now, Ron. let's not get too rich here.
There's a lot wacker. There's a lot of more wackadoos down there.
But the thing about this is now, here's something that burnt me out. I think it's the Drones for First Responders Act. Mark Warner from Virginia, Democrats on it, and I'm like, what the hell? And I don't think, I'm like Ron, like you said, I'm at the point to where my representative democracy needs to represent me with some facts.
Yeah.
I'm to that point now. I'm like, look, I don't trust either side anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't want either one to be in charge.
I'm just using an example. I don't know the fact, but see, Mark Warner, he probably has a bill he wants to get passed through, so he needs the vote of the people that have the drone bill. So he's trading his vote on this for their vote on this or whatever. Because he didn't even look at the drone bill. He looked at one page of the drone bills. Yeah, I'll go along with your vote on that or whatever. Sounds good.
Okay, so there's language for them. Okay, that was in this one. I thought that was part of the new one that guy came out with.
Yeah, I don't know which one you're. Yeah,
and it was all Chinese drones.
But the thing is, though, why wait until you already call for the ban, then dissect? Shouldn't this have been done first?
Yeah, what do they say? Put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, what a They don't. Yeah, they like to put the cart after the horse.
Yeah, exactly. That's a bit crazy right there, man. But I knew that because there's like three bills. There's the
counting CCP bill, the first one.
Counting CCP, which is in the NDAA already passed the House.
Right.
Like I said, it will be reconciled. DJI will go on the covered list because this is the defense bill for 2025. I don't know. Kai, do you know, does it go in January or is it like April or something when the physical year starts.
Or or is there a firm timetable?
Because some people were saying, "Oh no," but I'm like, they they can't just prolong it. They
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
pass
Well,
the
and
defense
then
budget,
go to
man.
second. Then there's the first responders bill, and then the new bill by Tester. I don't know if John
Which,
Tester's bill has a name, but he has another bill, and they think that his bill was brought up because they didn't think that one of the other bills is strong enough.
yeah, this bill, the one that's already gone through the House, only went after DJI. So his bill goes after all Chinese-made drones, and does basically what Kyle was saying here. They set up a bunch to dissect the drones and see what's wrong with them. And the whole point is like, wait a minute, you're going to ban, like Ron said, you're going to ban them, but then you're like, oh, wait a minute, are y'all ready? Wait a minute, it's like Johnny Carson back in the day. And they said they're spies.
And they now going back to Huawei, what Randy brought up, they did dissect the Huawei like routers and switches, and they did find parts of it that shouldn't have been in there. So that did happen with Huawei, but I think they actually examined the devices before they banned Huawei.
Well, okay, I think Drew had some stuff to say, but he wasn't quite used to our rapid fire chat. So, what do you got, Drew?
No, I was just thinking that I do think with the election coming in November, I think it's going to probably everything's going to probably get passed. I don't think there's going to be any chance of any government shutdowns or anything like that. Unfortunately,
No, it's not going to happen.
Things, but that was my only 2 cents. Was normally I'd hope that the inefficiencies of our government would give us a chance, to at least see it longer. But it's with the election.
Well,
Like
Drew, we
Kyle's
brought this
point
up
now.
last week, but when none of us saw it coming, we didn't know they were going to slip this drone bill in the defense bill, where a bill that was going to get the bill 100% was going to pass, and what form
rider
was going to
bill.
pass. But that bill is going to pass. It's a shame they didn't slip the drone bill in one of those bills that didn't have that great of a chance of getting passed.
They call it like a rider bill.
Yeah, like a rider. But they wish they had put the rider in one of those bills that were, not looking too good to pass. They had to put it in what we used to call the sure thing back in the day.
And see, the other thing that sucks about this is it's got bipartisan, following.
Yeah, support.
So
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
don't think the president's going to save you, whether it's Biden, Trump, or Donald Duck as the next president.
Yeah, it's not going to
All
matter.
three of them are going to sign that bill.
Yeah, they're all going to go for it because it's
Consumers,
bipartisan.
most consumers probably don't even really want drones in the sky, sadly, but they don't realize we're just going to be replaced by Amazon, and maybe it would be just better to have. I don't know. It's. I'd say the average person isn't privy to any of this. How many people will be still flying their DJI after this ban and not even realize it's banned? It's going to be a mess, and it's very interesting stuff.
I mean, dude, the average person, not counting TV, never even seen a drone.
No, even worse, man. You'll be jogging along in about 5 years, and you'll suddenly hear, "Citizen, stop! You're breaking curfew. That will be a 200-volt penalty."
And you know what I yell over? Do you have any Chinese parts in your drone? If you do, you should be banned. Land that drone right now.
Or no. I'm saying that we'll be followed by U.S. technology.
Oh,
drones.
so you are saying there will be a 100% U.S. made drone?
But we won't be able to fly them. They won't let us fly them.
For the police.
I don't even know if they'll let the. They're talking about. I heard some really crazy stuff today, but I don't want to bring it up because it would be way too political. So let's go majorly squirrel.
We don't want to do politics therapy.
Well, wait a minute. What's he saying? It's
Definitely not.
called it for a long time. The countering CCP bill was going to get attached to something else and get approved. Yeah, that's true. Pay your dues.
Hello, Dale.
Do what? Oh, wait a minute. So they're going to charge record. Wait a minute. How are they going? So we're going to be able to fly in Washington as a hobbyist, no matter what, if we pay dues, or just because 107. See, that's my thing, because I'm one of them people that follow the Grateful Dead around. I'm a hippie, and I tend like to not follow everybody else like a sheep. So I still like being a hobbyist. I really do. The only thing that pisses me off is there was a time when it was okay for me to take pictures and for me to fly 400 foot around buildings and just like a 107 pilot. And I have yet to figure out what the hell happened that said, let's take all that away and give it to a bunch of people that take a couple of tests and pay us a lot of money and tell the other hobbyists that they can't do them things anymore, even
They
though they
said
really didn't break any rules.
it's just a way to make money.
It's just you need to pay a
And that's how the
registration fee for a hobbyist or for 107. I don't know.
So, Bill, do you think flying drones in the future will be a pay-to-play type situation?
Remember,
You'll
I've
still be
said
able to
that
fly
before.
if you pay?
Ron, does this sound familiar? In the future, drones will be a rich man's hobby where you will actually go someone, pay them money. They will allow you to fly a drone around a specific area. You'll get to get all your jollies and show all your friends. Or you get to show all your rich friends when you say, hey, watch me order a pizza by drone. And that will be the fun of it.
And the poor guy will be stuck with his GoPro on a long pole.
Well, maybe not that. Maybe you can build your own kind of like you know, uh, like a what am I saying, MJ, like a Bugs 3 or something. You
Yeah,
know,
I know I didn't get a firm answer, but it's going to be very hard. Even if you did a hand built FPV drone, it would be hard to do that without using any Chinese parts.
it's not
Yeah,
much dissimilar to net neutrality.
I think she's telling Dale something. Stacy's telling Dale something.
9/11 police drones.
She's asking Dale because Dale lives down that way.
Redmond.
Well, he lives in Centralia, which is kind of that direction.
Okay.
But Redmond's actually closer to me, but I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
I hide out during the day.
Dale says that's only for 107s have to pay.
Yeah. No, he hasn't heard.
Wow.
Oh, I
But
haven't.
it
Go
does
ahead.
feel like before, like a little bit like the pay to play for the net neutrality. Like the bigger players are going to have the high speed internet. They're going to have high speed traffic. They're going to have the green light to, kind of feel similar. Where like the consumer kind of gets pushed aside. Where, you have to, unless you're Netflix, you're not going to get that true 5G experience or that true, fiber optic experience. Whereas that's tragedy that commons like I used to learn about in business school.
Possibly tethered. What do you think? Tethered drones to do this?
Who knows?
Well, she's saying they're using them for 911 calls, so I would think it would have to be a drone that could stay in the air. So it would be.
Well, they go out and scope. They scope out the scene before the first responders arrive.
Oh, okay.
And what's his name was telling us, they even have like FPV style drones. They actually fly in the building to make sure that there's nobody in there with guns or a fire. Make sure there's safe to go in there. So
see what Marcel's saying right here.
there are some American-made FPV drone parts being sold way above China price, but to be expected. Okay,
And they'll get even higher once all
so you
this
can
stuff
still
gets
build
banned.
your FPV drone, but it's going to cost you a heck of a lot more money than it used to.
Now, is that just like motors and stuff, or are they selling VTXs from American-made VTXs and flight
Good
controllers?
question. It's a good question. I haven't got a straight answer on that yet.
It's probably like frames and motors and.
I didn't think
stuff
anything
like
considered unmanned aircraft system or like considered a drone. I thought anything tethered to the ground was kind of completely different.
Yeah, I think you're right. If it's tethered to the ground, it is different.
So I'm
Well,
gonna have
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Phantom 4, excuse me.
So if you would get pulled over by a policeman for flying a Chinese drone in a couple of years, would he have to take everything apart to check? Do what do you call it, a surgical removal of all the parts to figure out if
Cavity
anything in there was made in China?
Yeah, I need to see the components of your drone stat, sir. Your license, registration, and components of your drone.
Yeah.
Well,
I did use my Part 107 certification to get my broker's license when I took my exam. Ironically, not to go squirrel on you guys, but they said I needed 2 forms of ID, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Why isn't my passport or whatever fine?" And I whipped out my UAS FAA license, and they're like, "Oh, okay, fine." So
Whoa.
Hey,
something.
that works.
The
It's
only
a
time
government issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe anything else would have been good. Maybe your Costco card would have been did the trick or
yeah,
something.
true. Yeah. It probably gives
I
me more
heard
benefit than a UAS card.
I heard Ken Heron say that he got a discount at a hotel. Said he was a government employee and pulled out his government
Well,
issued UAS card.
We'll have to try that sometime, huh?
And you
I
can
mean,
see,
Hey, were you ever in the military? No, but I am a pilot here. Want to see my card?
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I do work for the government.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did
And I
FBI
just
back.
posted Drew's channel in the chat so
Do you
that
have a
you all can
YouTube
see it.
channel, Drew?
Yes, please get over there. He calls himself the drone guy.
The drone
This
guy.
is the
Well, that's a good
remember
name.
I showed on support your local drone channel. I showed his channel. He's the one that does the in-depth mini SE mini 2 SE videos.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's got a big channel.
Now, Drew,
Yeah.
what part of Maine are you in?
I didn't think it would be honestly anyone would watch, but I think my first video was actually comparing the Mini 2SE with my Mavic 3, and I did the exact same flight, and it kind of gained some traction. And my whole preface of the YouTube channel was to just try to do more with less, and I wanted to buy the cheapest, economically friendly drone that most people could probably afford, and try to put my professional spin on it and narrate how you can maximize even the most budget friendly drone to get
Yeah.
professional.
Do you see what I mean,
I have
Ron? It's him and Marcus are going to be two
I'm
peas
gonna,
in a pod.
yeah, I'm gonna,
Two peas
I
in a
have-
pod,
I'm gonna put
man.
his channel right in the laptop now.
I have a friend at work that he just he's never been into drones. He just got the Mini 2 SE, and I sent him some links to your channel. But funny story is, he just got it, and he was flying. I think he flew it 2 times, and he had it on the ground. He had his nephew, and was showing him, I guess, how to control it. And his little brother came along on his bicycle and ran it completely over.
No,
Well,
Oh
he was
no!
asking me what to do because it broke one of the arms completely off on the tip.
Um,
And I told him start a repair order, and he sent it in. And come to find out, when the bike ran it over, it cracked the main board inside.
wow.
So it basically had to get a new drone, but it was like $138 worth of damage.
Wow.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's still pretty. I have that's the other thing I think that's a bummer about DJI kind of going away is I have seen a lot of people get into some nasty scenarios with the drone. I mean, it's pretty. Even though the obstacle avoidance is a thing, it's pretty easy to crash your drone, I think, sometimes. And I have seen a lot of stories of people getting either complete replacement drone for less than the retail price, or a completely free drone,
Yeah.
despite having DJI Care on their drone. But no, it's cool that I do think the Mini 2 SE is a really fun little drone. I don't use it professionally at all for the most, really ever, but it's a really fun drone to keep.
The main
Travel.
thing he complained about, was the flight time.
Yeah, it's very, and I think the only reason that hasn't impacted me is because I'm just an experienced person at this point, so I'm going to maximize the 25 to 30 minutes that the
Right.
The battery gives you. That's what I started with the Phantom. But I do remember being so stressed about my 30-minute flight time. It just was never enough. Like the first 3 years of my professional drone career, I always had 3 batteries on me. But once you get more and more tuned in, dialed in, you're going to just be a much more efficient flyer. But I have 3 different I have 3 batteries for the Mini 2SE. So I was surprised to see it get to the 3-mile mark on that's my most popular YouTube long format.
Yep.
Got 150 views, I think.
Drew, I am subscribed to your channel, but here's something to tell people. I'm subscribed, but I was subscribed as personalized. So if you don't have all clicked, I never get fed any of your videos. If you subscribe and hit personalized, unless you hit all, you never get fed anybody's videos. So now I just switched it to all. So I'll actually see when you post on the video. When you put on personalized, it never recommends anybody's videos to you.
Oh.
Even though
We
you
also
subscribe.
have another guy in the community named Angel who calls himself the Drone Guy 42.
Ooh,
which is
Oh yeah,
kind of cool.
he's isn't he a friend of Captain Ray? He's up in New York, right? Or
Yeah, I think Ray knows him.
yeah.
Oh wow, very nice.
Oh, look at that.
So
Yeah.
the what was it? El Kabong got a
wow.
new one for $29. There you go.
Yeah, and you can't beat that Care Refresh for $49 for 2 years.
Yeah.
Anyone seen my DJI Mini 3 range test? I also got that drone easily past 3 miles, and that was a refurbished drone. I have two Mini 2SEs, two Mini 3s, and I've tried some of the refurbished DJI drones, and they are essentially new drones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought refurbs. Yeah, it's like a new drone.
See,
Speaking of
Ron got a
new DJI devices, I got my Pocket 3 back today. I had an issue with the magnet wore out and the screen wouldn't lock in place anymore. And they sent me, I got a whole new Pocket back. It's brand new.
Oh, it's not a refurb Pocket
Not
3?
well, I thought I was getting a refurb, but it was in the box. I had to activate it, whatever. Got a brand new one.
I swear
Did you
it's
send
cheaper
him?
to send a new one. You know what I mean? And take the parts. Take the time replenishing their parts, supplies, or whatever it is, and just sending out a brand new drone, keeping the consumer happy. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's gonna.
So
I mean, the
anyhow,
whole,
it's back, and didn't cost me anything. It was under warranty. It had been a $33 repair, they said, but that's when he said it was a $33 repair. I thought they repaired and I was getting it back, but a new one showed up today. So and I didn't send them back the little hard case, but they sent me a hard case.
I was getting ready to ask.
I guess it costs more than $33.
I recommend everybody when you have a repair and they ask you to send everything back, keep some of the accessories.
I didn't send anything back, but I put it in that little, I took the shaving kit so it'd be protected. They did send the shaving kit back. The only thing, I don't remember if I left the memory card in there, and I came back with no memory card, so I
That's
may have
cool.
forgot the memory card in there. They may have sent my memory card to the Chinese military with all that information on it. Man, just think what the Chinese military could do with all my pictures of the beach and Lucy the elephant. I mean, this country's toast if they get a hold of that.
I'm actually going to go buy a little razor and some shaving cream and stuff so that I can actually turn this into a little sewing.
The little shaving kit.
Little shaving kit, man.
That looks
Hey,
like
Chris.
it would. That looks like it would fit the DJI mic charging
The
box.
mic one looks like the mic one's just a smaller version of it. It's
Yeah.
like the same case, but just a little bit smaller.
Oh, you went ahead and got the mic 2, the bulk set?
Yeah, I got the mic too, but the case is a little bit smaller than the pocket case. So that's for your. This is shaving kit for your overnight stays. This
So
one
you
go
have
for a
3
little bit
mic
longer.
2s? You have 3 mic 2s? Or 2 mic 2s?
Well, I have the set here, and then I have the mic 2 that came with the Pocket 3 Creators combo. But the thing is, there was no sense in getting this I don't know, like one mic or whatever, because you didn't get all the charging hubs and all that stuff. So it didn't make any
That's where
sense.
the
You know what,
DJ
Bill?
always gets us with that, don't they? They're like, do you want to just pay for the bare bones kit, which is probably $85 cheaper, or do you want to go for the little jingly stuff?
Like that game show on TV. But here's the thing, Bill. I may sell my Pocket 3 Creators combo. So if I do that, I didn't want to not have a mic 2. So then, you know what I mean? I still have a mic 2 if I sell the Creators combo off.
But what if you can't get the 4 because it's been outlawed?
I'll get the Cajita version of it.
Cajita
Or I'll get the
version.
white label or whatever. Yeah.
Hey fellas, I'm gonna have to take off.
Yeah, it is
Yep.
getting kind of late here.
It is
Bill.
that time because I have. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Did you get your surgery?
Not as of the last time I read, Bill was still waiting.
Well, this is 15 seconds ago. We're hoping that you got your surgery. But no, when was the last time you heard?
That's maybe earlier today.
Okay. Well, so he must still be waiting. That sucks. We hope that you get to it fast. But I also have things I have to tend to as well. I sent Drew, I sent your information to Johnny Drone Flyer. Johnny, if you're still here, I think he would make an excellent guest for you. I also sent it to Bob Dempsey. And Ron, you said you're already gonna, but like I said,
You sent it to me too, but at least I had subbed up. I just didn't have it on personalized, so it never fed me any of his videos.
Well, I was just trying to find newer stuff, and then of course his channel's bigger, But I thought it was kind of cool that he called himself the drone guy, and it'd be kind of neat thing to do since Angel called himself the drone guy 42. You know, we had a couple of those in the community. Plus, I didn't, really. Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to just tell the truth. I went through his comments and I didn't see anybody that I knew.
Oh. Well, that's because
All right, guys, I'm heading out.
Subscribe, but not personalized.
All right, see you, Randy.
Let me put another
All right,
video
see you
out.
guys.
Good night, Randy.
Randy, nice meeting you,
Nice
brother.
to meet you. You too, Drew.
But
I'll see you guys.
no, the thing I thought it would be, because that's why I always do with support your local drone channel. I look for channels that either are brand new, because everybody knows when you first build that channel, you're really hoping it takes off, and you get disappointed after the first video or two, but you got to keep on pushing. Anyway, and he popped up, and that's how I found him that way, and da 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 da. But then I realized once I talked to him before we went live, it would be a benefit to not just this show, but to Ron. He would be a great guest for your show. And then you saw why I brought this up too. It's the pretty website for the Vegas drone meetup. So it's just vegasdronemeet.com.
And Bob, I think Bob designs his own websites. He's a web designer among other talents.
That's what I said. Him and Audrey are the perfect combination, because she's like the professional planner and has all those contacts, and Bob is like the media guy.
Yep.
So, and then there's the Vegas drone meetup information as well. But yeah, I think he would, because the way I look at it when I'm looking at those channels plus this, his community doesn't necessarily involve a whole lot of our community. So it would be beneficial on both sides to intermingle those two to open up a potentially broader audience, right?
Yes.
I agree. No, I'm really for picking me out to be included in the show, and I am trying to still give away a drone when I reach 10,000 subscribers. It'll be probably something that may end up getting banned, but I do have subscribers all over the world, and I think it'd still be fun. So just want to put that plug out there. I don't care if the ban's happening or not. I'm still giving away something fun that someone can enjoy, even if it's for a while. Just want to spread the love.
Well, it was great to have you on, and we will definitely do our best to have you back on. If you ever get a chance, we all connect each other on Facebook. You may or may not want to have that medium. That's fine, whatever. We can still continue to talk through emails or whatever. Ron, you got anything coming up?
Bill, we forgot to mention the Igor's rumor with it 24 hours after the last Air 3S video. You mentioned to me in a private chat
the Action
DJI
5.
Action 5 Pro.
That's the thing.
And now, Bill, there's a Pro indicate it maybe 8K, like the recent Insta360 cameras. They're going to go 8K on us.
But how are they really going to surpass the 4?
Well, again, that's maybe with that 8K.
But do we really need 8K? Is anything broadcasting 8K?
We don't, but it's a good way to market and get our money, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Would we see a 1-inch camera sensor with 8K? That would be something.
And maybe that will be the Pro version, and then the other one will be the 1/1/3.
Yes. So that's my final thoughts.
Or it'll still wait. What if it's this? It'll shoot 6K instead of 5.2. It'll shoot 6K.
That'll still top the GoPro here.
Right.
And they got to get that out this fall to beat the drone, the DJI ban.
Okay, let's see. Do we really want to shoot the moon? Nah, I got stuff I got to do. But Drew, I will holler at you through email.
Nice meeting you, Drew.
Thanks, you
great
guys.
to have everybody here. Thank you, everybody in chat. We will see you next week. Live long and prosper.
And get